Bandwidth plays a very important role in just about any piece of telecommunications equipment we use today, like cell phones, DSL equipment, cable equipment, or satellite equipment. There's a very close relationship between bandwidth and frequency. However, bandwidth is one of the most misunderstood concepts. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of how bandwidth works and also its relationship to frequency. So here in this diagram we have 1500 megahertz, and that's what we're sending. So if we're just sending 1500 megahertz with no bandwidth, this red line here describes that 1500 megahertz, and this is a 0 point. This will be zero bandwidth. So this frequency has to be at the midpoint. So the bandwidth would expand evenly out on both sides of your frequency. Here we have 200 megahertz of bandwidth, and as you know, bandwidth is important for data. You cannot send data with zero bandwidth. The greater the bandwidth with data, the more data you can send, but you cannot send any with zero. It has to be more than zero. So you need multiple frequencies in order to send bandwidth. One frequency alone wouldn't do it. So now here's an example for you. You're given a frequency of 1600 megahertz and you're told to use a bandwidth of 125 megahertz. Under here I have a bandwidth chart going from 1300 megahertz to 1700 megahertz, and here we have the frequency that you're going to be using of 1600 megahertz here in red. Now here's an easy way to calculate where your bandwidth is going to start on this chart in order to get your frequency right in the middle. Remember, it has to be balanced evenly. So how to do it accurately? The first thing we do is take our bandwidth of 125 megahertz and we divide it by 2. So we get 62.5. In order to calculate the lower frequency, we subtract that 62.5 from the 1600. This 1600 megahertz. We subtract 62.5 from 1600. We got 1537.5 megahertz for the lower frequency, and for the upper frequency we add 1600 megahertz to 62.5 and we get 1662.5 megahertz for the upper frequency. So now we know both our lower frequency and our upper frequency. So now we have our bandwidth, which starts at 1537.5 megahertz for the lower frequency, starting right here, and the upper frequency, which ends at 1662.5 megahertz, which ends right here. So we have our bandwidth with our 1600 megahertz being in the middle. So in order to prove your calculations, if you are in doubt that this is correct, this is what you do. For your midpoint, which is 1600 megahertz, you just add this 1537.5 megahertz to the 1662.5 megahertz and you get 3200. Just divide that by 2 and you should get your midpoint again, your 1600 megahertz, right? This is just to prove that your calculations here are correct. So this is a simple way to calculate bandwidth. This is Trevor from Telecom Training. If this video has been helpful to you and you would like to see more videos like this one, please don't forget to like and subscribe.